Victor M. Houston, love your show since number one. Do you think MOAS is finally happening when the economy crashes in the next months? I think it's very interesting. So part of the thesis for MOAS is dependent upon the government spooling up the printers and paying the banks so they don't fail. The problem is that in a debt crisis, where we're not paying our debts, it's because Congress has not given the authority to the Federal Reserve or the Treasury to spool up the printers. They wouldn't be allowed to do it. So what we'll have is we'll have an absolute collapse of blue chip stocks and bonds, the stuff that uses collateral for their margin plays. So we're going to see margin calls or liquidations that should happen across every aspect. Everyone's going to be toast. But when the buying happens to close out these positions and they run out of funds from those liquidations and it's got to go back to the prime brokers, these big investment banks and stuff, the investment banks will get wiped out and then there'll be no printing because the government has not been given the authority to go print. So I'm very curious to see how that happens. What if they have to close these positions? They have to close out all this margin, and there's not enough money to do it. Is everyone going to fail? Even if they're too big to fail, they'll still fail, and because people want their money, man. So what? My crystal ball is real foggy as far as like what's concerned after prime brokers run out of money, because the thesis has always been you print money and give it to those prime brokers, give it to those investment banks, just print, and then they take care of their debts, and you go, ugh, we're done with that, moving on. But if you can't print, we can't move on, and so it's going to be this limbo, and I think it's going to be just absolutely a terrible, long process. That's all I can see. S3, it's always theater with a debt ceiling, just abolish it. Yes! We used to, when we passed a budget, used to automatically approve the debt ceiling. But for some reason, we changed that back in the 90s with Newt Gingrich, and he was able to use the debt ceiling as a lever to pass things that are completely unrelated to it. It's ransom. That's what it is. They're holding the government ransom and the global economy ransom for that fact. Guitar stuff. In order to pay our debts, Yellen will have to take out more debt, which will make treasuries cheaper and yields higher, which will take the market in a downward direction. Yeah, yep. Exactly. S3, decentralized social media with actual verification will be needed in life. Cool. I don't know how many times okay. Dr. Spurgeon, the Sturgeon Surgeon, Houston, bidets waiting, so he can blame it all on Republicans. He knows it's fucked. Oh, Biden. Bidets. It's like blaming the little squirt. Yeah. I mean, I say personally, you invoke the 14th and let the Republicans try to sue you over it. Because you just don't want to be the guy who's like, no, you should collapse the economy now. That will not play well in commercials and ads going to 2024.